So you've been thinking about moving to the Boise, Idaho area, but you're not really sure where you want to be as far as the specific city, town, kind of where you want to be in the metro area. Well, today I'm going to highlight one of the small town favorites here in the Boise, Idaho area. We're going to talk about Star Idaho. I'm going to break down some of the things that make residents here absolutely love living in Star Idaho and the things that I hear from clients all the time about why this is the place that they chose to make it home for their family. So if Star Idaho piques your interest, let's go ahead and hop into it right now. Today, we're going to talk about Star Idaho. I'm going to walk you through 5 of the top reasons why people either move here, why they love the city, or why this really just puts Star at the top of so many people's lists. These 5 reasons are going to be the small town atmosphere. We're going to talk about the proximity to Boise and the other towns here in the Boise Metro area. We're going to talk about the lot sizes and how you can just get a little bit more space out in this part of town. We're going to talk about the affordability, and then we're also going to talk about that small town, but the tight-knit community that can come with living in Star Idaho if that's what you're looking for. Before we jump in, if you're new to this channel, my name's Chase Dolan, and this is Living in Boise, where I show you what it's like to live, work, and play here in the Boise and Greater Treasure Valley area. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. That way you're the first one to know everything there is to know about the Boise, Idaho area. And I am a licensed agent up here in the area, so if you are thinking about moving to the Boise area, whether it's in 9 days or 9 months, I would absolutely love to help you make your move to Boise as smooth as possible. So all of my information is down below. Call, text, email, even set up a Zoom. If there's any way that I can help, I would absolutely love to. But let's go ahead and get started with one of the top reasons why people love living in Star, Idaho, the small town atmosphere. A lot of times when I'm talking to relocating clients coming from other places, their picture of Idaho is sometimes skewed a little bit towards what they've seen in shows, what they've seen in movies, what they think Idaho and kind of the potato state is all about. A lot of times they think it's a lot of farms, it's very rural, all of these things, which is true in a lot of the portions of Idaho. But here in the Boise Metro area, we are a metro area. We have grown incredibly fast over the past decade or two, and this has led to some of this farmland, some of the rural kind of settings start to disappear a little bit here in the actual Treasure Valley area itself. There are still plenty of areas that will meet this criteria, but Star is going to be one of the best ones if you're looking for that true small town Idaho feel. Star Idaho has a population of just around 11,000, so when we rank that here in the Treasure Valley, kind of all of the cities here in the metro area, this is going to be one of the smaller cities there. It's located northwest of Boise, Idaho, just about a 40-45 minute drive out. It's going to be sandwiched right between Eagle and Middleton. Star over the past few years has really started to grow pretty quickly, just like the rest of our valley, but they've kind of really held on to that small town feel as much as they can. Over the next 5 to 10 years, Star is going to continue to grow, but I think that they're going to end up growing similar to what Eagle, Idaho has become in terms of the downtown being focused more on the local restaurants, keeping that small town atmosphere with the events and the community that's offered, and doing their best to make sure that development doesn't just completely take over the city and they can keep some of that small town charm. And then like their neighboring city of Middleton, they are trying to keep some of that rural farmland, have kind of the fluffy cow atmosphere. You're gonna have some of that resistance to development. Right now, there's only a couple of roads in and out of Star. There's a ton of construction going on because they need the road infrastructure, but traffic is one of those things that needs to be fixed, and that's why the population has been kind of difficult. We'll get into that in a separate video about the things that aren't great about Star Idaho, but today we're talking about the positives. But overall, Star Idaho is going to have one of the best small town atmospheres here in the Treasure Valley. If this is something that you're looking for, when I'm talking to clients who have lived here, who are wanting to move here, who spend some time here, it is an absolute favorite. Now let's get into the second reason why people do love living in Star, Idaho. It offers a really good location in terms of proximity to the other parts of the Treasure Valley. Like I said, Star is just about 30 to 45 minutes from Boise, Idaho, depending on the time of day, all of that fun stuff. But it is close enough to where if you want to go out to downtown during the weekends, if you want to go out to dinner, if you want to do anything like that, It's just a little bit of a drive to get down there. But with where it's located, you have an even shorter drive if you want to go out to Middleton, Nampa, Eagle, Meridian. All of them border Star itself, so you're really close to all of those different cities and everything that they have to offer. And then just like I talk about a lot when I'm talking about Eagle and Boise being on the northern side of our valley, Star is right up there where you're just a few minutes away from getting into the foothills, getting down to Highway 55 and heading out of town. You can go up through the foothills towards Emmett. There's a lot of cool outdoor activities and such just outside of your backyard here in Star. Talking to a client of mine who built their home in Star, Idaho, new construction just about 3 years ago, this is what they highlighted as their favorite part of living in Star, Idaho. They really wanted that small town atmosphere that we just talked about, but they wanted access to the bigger towns, the bigger city kind of amenities, things to do, everything like that. And Star gives them that with just a little short drive, but their actual day-to-day life can stay a little bit slower in that small town atmosphere. And with all of this comes the third reason why Star, Idaho is a great place to live, is the tight-knit community that I've noticed the residents just tend to find when they live in Star. Now, something that you'll hear a lot, and I'll be the first to let you know about, is here in the greater Boise area, people are pretty kind. It's a place where you're gonna be able to look people in the eye, they're gonna shake your hand, they're actually gonna say hi to you. It's a very different feel than some of the bigger cities kind of around the West Coast in the country. But that kind of kind interaction and everything in the like hustle bustle of just everyday life is very different than actually building a tight-knit community around the people that you're living next to. I have a few clients and an absolutely fantastic mother who loves Star, Idaho because of that community that it offers. Whether you're looking to get involved in some sort of mahjong, if you're trying to do pickleball, any sort of activity where you want to get to know people, if you want to get involved in your church, your kids' schools, whatever it is, I have noticed a very big theme in Star is that people are able to form relationships and form a community in just a much deeper way than I've seen in other parts of our city. There's one community out there, Heron River, that has this kind of community that people really do tend to flock to. This subdivision offers kind of that tight-knit community with some of the amenities they offer, everything like that. Heron River is one, if you're looking for that kind of neighborhood where you want to kind of build a life in, it could be a really great option. On the topic of kind of a specific neighborhood like Heron River, I want to talk about the next thing that people talk about when they describe to me why they want to look in Star, Idaho more than other places in our valley. And that is just based off the fact that Star is going to have some bigger lot sizes and more space than some of the other towns around the city. Overall, we tend to see that the closer that you are to Boise, the more expensive and kind of the more premium is put on land and lot size. And just like most places around the country, it'll really depend on neighborhood by neighborhood. It'll depend on city, where you're at, all of these things. But on the grand scheme, Star, Middleton, those kind of like outskirts, more small town, rural focused towns are gonna have bigger lots than, let's say, Meridian, Boise, where they're kind of growing at just a much faster pace. This means when I have a client come to me and says, hey, I have some horses, or I want to be on even just like a normal suburb lot, but I want at least 1/3 of an acre. I don't want to be in kind of that track home where everybody feels like they're on top of each other. Star is going to be one of the first places that I recommend them starting to look. And this also is there if you're looking for kind of a waterfront property opportunity. There's a couple of great communities. Heron River that I already talked about has some man-made lakes, everything kind of throughout the community. And then you're going to have Star River Ranch, which has kind of this massive canal, some more of those man-made lakes kind of running through it. There are a ton of really great communities in the Star area that I'll try and highlight in future videos. But if you have any questions about any of them in particular, feel free, drop a comment down below. I would love to hear kind of what people are looking at. For the most part, these lots and the possibility to own a little bit more land really draws people to Star, Idaho, and it kind of goes through everything that I've been talking about in this video. Star is trying to keep some of that same small town feel. They're not trying to have subdivisions that are on the smallest lots possible. There are going to be some of those because population is growing and we need housing, but a lot of the communities that are getting planned for Star and actually getting approved have bigger lots, they have green space, all sorts of things to try and keep that same atmosphere. And that leads into the final thing that we're going to talk about today. It is definitely not the end of the list, but when we're talking about things that make people love Star, Idaho, is just the fact that it's going to be a more affordable place to live than the neighboring city of Eagle, Boise, and even some parts of Meridian. This means that Star can offer you an opportunity to have your money actually stretch farther when we're talking about housing prices, rental prices, everything like that, while still getting that small town community. You can get the bigger lots, you can get the waterfront, anything like that. Star allows you to get everything that you would want at a little bit lower price tag than, let's say, Eagle. Now, I do want to be clear, it is not a completely crazy price reduction. Over the last few years, Star has grown exceedingly fast purely because people have kind of fallen in love with the city. It is starting to kind of creep up, and it isn't one of the cheaper options in the entire valley. If you're really looking for the budget conscious, you're going to want to look out in Middleton, Nampa, Caldwell, those kinds of areas. It's still, the further you get away from Boise, it'll just always start to kind of make your money stretch just a little bit further. But when we're comparing apples to apples on neighborhoods, kind of the amenities offered, location, everything like that, Star can compete with Eagle and Boise in a way that not many of the towns can, but it still offers you a little bit more of a budget-friendly option. Now, if you have any questions about any of the specifics about that budget or anything to do with actually living in the Star Idaho area, all of my information is down below. I would love to answer any questions that I can, but these are just some of the top things when talking to clients, friends, family, everything like that, that really stood out to me about why people love living in Star, Idaho. If you're familiar with Star and you have something that you think I missed or something that I should have expanded on, drop a comment down below. I would love to hear kind of your thoughts so that we can continue to share the good things about our valley. But until then, I will see you all on the next one.